Hey everyone, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, always fun.
So today we're going to be diving into AI agents and AI assistants.
Yeah.
You sent over some really interesting research and
Yeah.
articles,
Yeah.
some notes even. Um, Clearly this is a topic you're already interested in and following.
For sure.
So it seems like everyone's talking about AI these days, but
Yeah.
sometimes it feels like AI agents and AI assistants are being used interchangeably.
I agree with that. It's a very hot topic.
Yeah. So we're here to really clarify the differences for you today and make sure you really grasp the core differences and also like why it even matters to you.
Right.
So let's just start with AI assistants. I think a lot of people already have some experience with this who hasn't asked Siri or Alexa for a weather update or to set a reminder.
Yeah, they're everywhere now.
They've kind of become our digital sidekicks in a way.
That's a great analogy. I like that.
So they're pretty common.
Yeah, I mean, statistics show that 64% of smartphone users rely on voice assistants.
Wow.
It's huge.
Yeah, that is huge.
But the key thing to remember about assistants is that they're reactive.
Okay.
They need you to tell them what to do.
Right.
Like they're waiting for your command.
So they're not booking our vacations for us based on our browsing history just yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
We'll see about that.
But that brings us to AI agents. And
Right.
this is where things get really interesting because they're not just passively waiting for commands.
Yeah, exactly.
AI agents are all about autonomy.
Yeah, they can make those decisions and take actions with very minimal input from us.
So give us some examples.
So think about, those trading bots that are making lightning fast decisions in the stock market.
Right.
Or video games, those AI characters that adapt to your every move.
Okay.
So they're not just reacting, they're analyzing, they're strategizing,
Wow.
and then they're acting to achieve those specific goals.
That's really interesting. So they're taking action without us needing to micromanage them.
Exactly.
But how widespread is this? Are we talking sci-fi future or is this something that's already happening?
It's happening now.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Gartner research shows that 10% of companies are using AI for autonomous decision-making already.
Wow, that's much higher than I expected.
And that number is only going to grow.
Yeah, so it sounds like AI agents are having a major impact.
Yeah, across a lot of industries.
On businesses across different industries. But
Yeah.
before we get too far ahead,
Yeah.
let's break down what makes an AI agent tick.
Okay.
What are some of the defining characteristics that we should know about?
Well, I think we've already touched on autonomy.
Right.
Being able to operate independently
Okay.
or with minimal human supervision.
Yeah.
That's a big one. Then there's reactivity, how quickly they respond to those changes in their environment.
So can you give me an example of that?
Think of a self-driving car adjusting to different traffic patterns.
Okay.
Or road conditions or whatever it may be.
So they're not just following a set of instructions.
Nope.
They can adapt.
In real time.
Wow, that's really impressive. What else?
Proactivity. So they don't just react to situations. They can take initiative
Wow.
to pursue goals.
That is impressive.
And then, of course, the ability to learn and improve based on experience.
So they're constantly learning.
All the time.
Okay.
And they can interact with other agents or systems or humans.
Oh, wow.
That's what makes them so potent.
Yeah, it sounds like there's a whole spectrum of AI agents out there.
There is.
Some that can perform those simple tasks, and then some that can handle those complex decision-making and problem-solving
Right. Yeah.
issues.
And some that are pushing the boundaries of what we even consider to be AI.
Give us an example.
Like large action models or LAMs.
Okay, lambs.
Yeah, these are newer, and they can go beyond just language
Okay.
and take action in the real world based on their understanding.
So like automating workflows.
Exactly.
Oh, wow, that's really fascinating.
Yeah.
So they're not just generating text.
Nope.
They're actually taking action.
They're doing things.
Okay, but hold on. We've been talking about all these amazing things that they can do.
Right.
But how do they actually work in practice? Can you give me some real-world examples?
Sure. So let's start with Vodafone.
Okay.
They have a customer service AI agent called 2B.
2 byte.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it handles a range of tasks.
Okay.
And by using multiple agents working together, 2High has boosted Vodafone's first call resolution rates by 45%.
Wow.
That's huge.
Yeah.
In finance, we have JP Morgan's LOXM.
LOXM.
It's an AI trading agent,
Okay.
and it optimizes trade execution.
Yeah.
And it has helped JP Morgan improve efficiency by 15%.
Wow. So they're saving money.
Yeah, a lot of money.
Okay, what else?
And then, of course, we can't forget about Waymo.
Waymo.
The self-driving cars.
Okay, yeah.
So those AI agents are powering those vehicles,
Mm-hmm.
and it's led to a significant improvement in safety.
That's great.
Yeah, fewer airbag deployments and fewer crashes that cause injuries.
That's amazing. So these are not just futuristic concepts. They're here.
They're already making a difference.
Yeah, transforming industries.
Yeah, in ways we probably don't even realize.
Really?
Yeah, and it's not just these huge corporations either.
Really?
There's a number of startups out there that are really pushing the boundaries.
Okay, so let's dive into this world of startups.
Okay.
I'm really curious to see what kind of innovation is happening in this space.
Yeah.
But before we do that,
Okay.
let's take a closer look at the different types of AI agents out there.
Okay.
Because it's one thing to talk about their capabilities.
Yeah.
But I think it's helpful to understand the nuances
Right.
and how they differ in their approach
Okay.
and their complexity.
Sure.
So let's start with the most fundamental type,
Okay.
the simple reflex agent.
All right, back to basics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What exactly does a simple reflex agent do?
So these operate on a simple set of rules,
Okay.
and they just react to the environment,
Okay.
without considering past experiences or future consequences.
You okay?
So think about a thermostat that adjusts the temperature based on what the current room temperature is.
Okay.
Input-output system.
So it's like a pre-programmed response based on a specific condition.
Exactly.
Makes sense. What about the next level up?
So that would be a model-based reflex agent.
Okay, model-based.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's that?
So these are a little more sophisticated.
Okay.
They use a model of the world to make decisions, even when some information is missing.
Okay.
So a good example is a self-driving car
Okay.
that adapts to changing traffic patterns.
Okay.
So it uses sensors to kind of perceive its surroundings, and then a model of traffic rules
Okay.
and behavior to make decisions,
Okay.
even when it can't see everything perfectly.
So it's almost like anticipating what could happen.
Exactly.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. So they're not just reacting to immediate stimuli.
Right.
They're using that model of the world to anticipate and plan.
To plan ahead.
Wow. What about those agents that have a specific goal in mind?
Those are goal-oriented agents. Okay.
And that's another step up in complexity.
Okay. So these agents are driven by a specific goal, and then they take actions to achieve that goal.
Okay.
So like a robotic vacuum cleaner.
Okay. Yeah.
It has a goal of cleaning the floor,
Right.
uses sensors and algorithms to navigate the room and avoid obstacles.
To achieve that goal.
Exactly.
So it's not just about reacting.
Yep.
It's about proactively pursuing that desired outcome.
Right.
Okay. What about AI agents that are capable of handling more complex decisions and trade-offs?
So those are utility-based agents.
Okay, utility-based.
Yeah, and they balance those competing objectives
Okay.
to maximize that overall benefit,
Okay, so give me an example.
like dynamic pricing in ride-sharing apps
Okay.
or smart grid controllers.
Okay.
They consider multiple factors to determine that optimal price or strategy.
Wow, so they're getting pretty good at juggling competing priorities.
They are.
What's the most advanced type of AI agent that we've seen so far?
Well, at the highest level of complexity, we have multi-agent systems.
Okay, multi-agents.
Yeah. These involve multiple agents working together to solve complex problems.
So working together.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like traffic management systems or supply chain optimization
Oh, wow.
require that coordination between multiple agents.
Wow. It's fascinating how these different types of AI agents
Right.
really reflect the evolution of artificial intelligence
Yeah.
from simple rule-based systems to those that are capable of really complex collaboration and problem solving.
Exactly.
Speaking of pushing boundaries,
Yeah.
I'm eager to hear about those innovative startups that you mentioned earlier.
Hi.
So let's shift gears a little bit
Right.
and focus on those companies that are really driving innovation in this AI agent space.
Okay.
What's out there?
So one company that stands out is MoveWorks.
MoveWorks.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're using AI agents to enhance enterprise productivity.
Okay, so what does that look like?
So areas like IT support or in HR,
Okay,
all those essential but sometimes time-consuming tasks
right.
that a lot of businesses face.
Okay, what other startups are you watching?
So there's Ninja Tech AI,
Okay, Migitech, yeah.
and they specialize in using multi-agent systems to tackle those really complex admin tasks
Okay.
that bog down businesses.
So it's like having a whole team of virtual assistants
Yeah,
working behind the scenes.
exactly.
What other innovative approaches are you seeing?
Beam.ai.
Beam.ai.
Yeah,
Okay.
and they focus on developing those customizable AI agents.
Okay.
So process automation across various industries.
Oh, wow.
So their platform allows businesses to create these AI agents that are tailored to their specific needs.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Makes it much more accessible to a wider range of businesses.
Exactly.
Any other startups that are really pushing those boundaries?
So one that I think is super interesting is Cognition Labs.
Okay, Cognition Labs.
Yeah, and they're developing AI agents
Okay.
capable of writing code.
Really? So the AI is writing the code?
It's amazing, right?
That's pretty incredible.
It's blurring the lines between human and machine developers.
Yeah, it sounds like AI agents are becoming more self-sufficient,
They are
constantly learning and improving.
all the time.
What does this mean for the future of work?
I don't know.
It's a little scary and exciting.
Yeah, it's a big question.
Yeah.
It raises a lot of questions about the future of work and creativity and even what it means to be human.
Wow.
Yeah. But before we get too philosophical,
Good.
let's connect this back to something that you're interested in.
Okay.
We know you're passionate about real estate,
Cool.
and you've been following the work of Chandra Mast
Yes, I have.
and her company Red Rose Appraisals.
Yeah, Chandra's great.
She's great. She's really at the forefront of using technology to enhance her business.
She is.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And Red Rose Appraisals is leveraging AI to automate those analytical processes
Okay.
and gain a deeper insight into market trends.
That's really smart.
Yeah. What's really interesting is that they've implemented over 50 custom GPTs. Or custom AI applications.
Wow.
And some of those are actually performing agentic tasks.
Agentic tasks.
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
So some of the things that they're using their AI agents for are things like sending emails, generating playlists.
Wait, AI is making playlists now?
Yeah.
Wow.
It is.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd see the day where AI is curating my music.
It's happening.
That makes sense.
It's like having that team of virtual assistants working behind the scenes, taking care of all those details.
So we can focus on the bigger picture.
Exactly.
So it sounds like they're really embracing the power of these AI agents to streamline their operations.
Yeah.
Improve their efficiency.
Yeah, across the board.
Really fascinating example of how this technology is being used in the real world.
It is.
To make it different.
Yeah. It is.
So it's not just for those complex tasks like trading stocks or driving cars.
No.
It can also handle those everyday tasks that we all face.
Yeah, make our lives easier.
That's a great point.
It's about finding ways to integrate AI into those workflows to make us more efficient and productive and ultimately more effective.
So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on the bigger picture.
Okay.
Where do you see AI agents going in the next few years? What kind of impact are they going to have on our lives?
That's a great question, and one that we'll continue exploring in part 2 of our deep dives.
Okay, so stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Welcome back.
All right, so we left off talking about those different types of AI agents.
Right.
But there's actually a framework that governs their behavior and their capabilities.
There is, and it's called the agentic scope of work.
The agentic scope of work. Okay, so what is that?
It's basically a way to categorize and understand those different levels of AI agent.
Okay, and their capabilities.
Right.
Okay, so break it down for me. What is the agentic scope of work?
So it all starts with understanding how we differentiate these agents.
Okay.
So there's several factors that we have to consider.
Okay, what's the first one?
So first there's agent type.
Okay, agent type.
Yeah. And this refers to whether the agent uses machine learning and predictive AI, generative AI, or a hybrid approach.
So we're talking about the underlying technology that drives their decision-making.
Exactly.
Okay. What else?
Then we have to look at their generative capabilities.
Okay, generative capability.
Yeah, so can they create new content?
Okay.
Or make decisions beyond those pre-programmed rules?
So it's not just about following instructions.
Nope.
It's about generating new solutions.
Right.
Okay, that's pretty cool. What else?
We also have to think about technical feasibility.
Technical feasibility.
Yeah.
Okay.
So can the agent's capabilities be achieved with the current technology?
Okay, so what's possible now versus what's possible in the future?
Exactly.
All right, so we've got the agent type, we've got generative capabilities, and technical feasibility. What other criteria are we using to define this scope of work?
So then we look at the scope of work itself.
Okay.
So the range and complexity of tasks the agent can handle.
So understanding its limitations and areas of expertise.
Exactly. And then automation level.
Automation.
Yes. So how independently can they perform tasks without human intervention?
Okay.
And then lastly, the level of human interaction that's required for the agent to function.
So some need a lot of input and some don't need much at all.
Right. Some need constant input, others very minimal.
Wow. Okay, so it sounds like we're building this comprehensive map of the AI landscape,
We are.
taking into account their capabilities, their scope of work, and their level of autonomy.
It's a lot.
Wow. So using these criteria, you've identified 10 types of AI agents.
We have.
10.
Yes.
That's a lot.
It is.
Okay, so walk me through the 10.
Okay, so we'll start with the most basic.
Okay.
The basic chatbot.
Okay, basic chatbot. So what is that?
So these are your simple rule-based agents that are often used for like those frequently asked questions or basic customer service.
Okay, I've seen these.
Yeah, so think of those chat pop-ups that you see on websites.
Yeah.
They can be helpful for straightforward inquiries,
Okay.
but they have limited capabilities. They can't
Yeah.
really deviate from those pre-programmed responses.
So they're good for initial interactions.
Right.
But not more complex requests.
Right, exactly.
Okay, what about the next level up?
So then we have virtual assistants.
Okay, virtual assistants.
Yeah.
So like Siri.
Like Siri and Alexa.
Okay.
They're designed to help us manage our personal tasks,
Wow.
like scheduling appointments, setting reminders, playing music.
Our digital sidekicks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But they still rely on our instructions.
Okay.
They're not really making decisions or taking actions on their own.
So what is
That's where we have task agents.
task agents?
Yes. These are designed to perform very specific, predefined tasks.
Okay, give me an example.
So a system that automatically books your flights and hotels based on your preferences, or an agent that processes your online orders
Okay.
and manages shipping logistics.
So they're taking on more responsibility,
They are.
but still within a very defined scope.
Right.
Okay, what about those agents that can engage in those more dynamic interactions?
So then we have multi-turn agents.
Multi-turn agents, right?
Okay. So these can engage in more complex, multi-step conversations with users.
Okay.
They can remember previous interactions.
Oh, wow.
They understand context, and then they adapt their responses accordingly.
Okay.
So a good example would be an AI agent that helps you troubleshoot technical issues.
Okay.
So it can ask questions to understand the problem,
Okay.
guide you through potential solutions, and then even escalate the issue to a human
Okay.
if needed.
So it's getting better at understanding and responding to our needs
Exactly.
in a more human way.
In a more natural way, yes.
Okay, what about those agents that can really adapt and personalize their responses based on us as individuals?
Those are context agents.
Context agents.
Yeah. Okay. So these are capable of adapting their responses based on real-time data,
Okay.
user history, and preferences.
Okay, so give me an example.
So like a recommendation engine that suggests products or services,
Okay, yeah.
or an AI assistant that learns your communication style and adjusts its tone and language.
So it's like it knows me.
Exactly. It gets you.
That's incredible.
Right.
What about those agents that go beyond just understanding information
Yeah.
and responding and actually creating new content?
So those are generative agents.
Generative agents.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So these can generate new original content across various formats,
Okay.
from text and images to audio and video.
So like AI is getting creative.
It is.
Wow. So give me an example. What can they actually do?
So imagine an AI agent that can write blog posts or compose music or generate 3D models.
That is crazy.
Yeah,
So AI is tapping into this whole new realm of creative potential.
it is.
What about those agents that are designed to handle those really complex, multi-step processes?
Right, so those are process agents. Process agents.
Yes.
Okay.
And they're specifically designed to automate those complex workflows.
Like what?
Data integration, document processing,
Okay.
generating personalized emails and reports.
So they're like the efficiency boosters.
They are.
Okay.
They can handle those repetitive tasks, free up those human employees
Right.
to focus on those higher level tasks.
What about AI agents that are trusted to make decisions
Right.
that impact the bottom line of a business?
So those are special agents.
Special agents.
Yeah, and these are designed to make those autonomous decisions,
Okay.
take actions with very minimal human input.
So they're moving into those roles
There.
that were once reserved just for us.
Right.
That's kind of scary.
It is.
What's next?
So then we have chains of agents.
Chains of agents.
Yeah, and this is coordinating multiple agents
Right.
to handle those complex workflows across different domains.
So they're all working together.
Yes.
Okay.
So adjusting strategies, generating content, managing resources, all with minimal human intervention.
So it's like a team of AI specialists
Yes.
working together.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay, so what's at the very top?
At the very top, we have super systems.
Super systems.
Yeah.
Okay.
These are fully autonomous, integrating multiple agents to manage those very complex self-directed tasks across multiple domains.
So they're making decisions, generating content and transactions, and continuously optimizing processes.
All without human intervention.
It sounds like science fiction.
I know, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah. So as AI agents become more sophisticated,
Yes.
their ability to use tools is going to be a game changer.
It already is.
So can you explain that a little bit more?
Yeah, so that ability to use existing tools and to even create new tools really distinguishes those advanced agents from simpler forms of AI.
So give me an example.
So, for example, some agents might use conversational tools or integrate data sources, but they don't independently innovate tool use.
So they're not just following a script. They're using tools strategically to achieve those goals.
Exactly.
Okay, so what about those that can create new tools?
So those are tool-generating agents.
Tool-generating agents.
Yes.
Okay.
And they're not just reacting to their environment, they're proactively shaping it.
Oh, wow.
By creating those new tools.
Wow, that's a powerful concept.
It is.
So they're almost becoming architects of their own solutions.
They are.
That's pretty mind-boggling.
It is, but let's bring it back down to earth for a minute.
Okay.
Remember Chandra Mast and Red Rose appraisals?
Yes.
So they are a perfect example of this.
Okay.
Of how these agents are being used in a practical setting.
Right.
And, we were just talking about how they've implemented over 50 custom GPTs.
Yes.
That are performing agentic tasks.
Okay.
So, for example, they're using AI agents to generate playlists.
Wait, AI is making playlists now?
I know, it's amazing, right?
But that's wild.
But it really illustrates how AI agents can be used for those everyday tasks, freeing up those human employees to do more strategic, creative work.
It's like having a virtual assistant who takes care of all the little things.
Exactly.
So you can focus on the bigger picture.
Right.
What other tasks are they using AI agents for?
Sending emails.
Okay.
Adding data to spreadsheets.
Wow.
So they're really streamlining their operations.
Across the board.
Yes, to improve that efficiency.
So this technology is not a futuristic concept.
No.
This is something that businesses are using right now to make a difference.
Right now.
So they're not just for those complex tasks.
No.
They can also handle our everyday tasks.
Yes, they can make our lives easier.
Okay, so where do you see AI agents going in the next few years?
Well, that's a great question, and one that we'll be discussing in our final part.
Okay, so stay tuned. So we're back, and, we've been on this journey exploring the world of AI agents.
We have. It's been pretty amazing.
And it's clear that this technology is just advancing so rapidly.
It is at an incredible pace.
Yeah, so while there's a lot of excitement about their potential, we also have to be mindful of those broader implications.
Right. It's not just about the cool factor.
Right.
It's about the impact on society, the workforce, and, what it means to be human.
Yeah. It's a complex issue.
It is.
And one that doesn't have any easy answers, but we have to acknowledge that AI agents are tools.
Yes, powerful tools.
But tools nonetheless.
But they can be used for good or for bad.
Right. It's up to us.
It is.
As humans to really guide the development and deployment of these AI agents responsibly.
Absolutely. And to make sure that they benefit all of humanity.
So that responsibility goes beyond just those developers and engineers.
It does. It involves policymakers, ethicists, and all of us as members of society.
So it's about the ethical considerations, the societal implications, and how we want to integrate AI into our lives.
Exactly. And I think one of the key challenges that we face is making sure that these AI agents are aligned with our values and our goals.
As a society.
As a society, right?
So being mindful of potential biases.
Yes.
Unintended consequences.
Absolutely.
Transparency and accountability.
All of those things.
Wow, yeah. It's a lot to think about, but it's so important.
It is crucial.
To have these conversations now.
Nah.
Because this technology is evolving so quickly.
It is.
We have to be proactive in shaping the future of AI.
Yes, and not just reacting to it after the fact.
I love that. So it's important to remember that AI agents are really just a reflection of ourselves.
I think so.
They're learning from the data we feed them.
Right.
They're operating within the frameworks that we've created. And they're serving the goals that we define.
All about us.
Yeah. So the future of AI isn't some predetermined outcome.
Right.
It's something that we're actively shaping.
We are.
Through our choices and the values that we prioritize.
Yeah. And that's both empowering and a little bit daunting.
It's a huge responsibility to get this right. But it also means that we have this opportunity to create a future where AI agents enhance our lives,
Right.
empower us to achieve more, and help us build a better world.
Absolutely. It's about finding that balance
Right.
between harnessing that power,
Yeah.
but also safeguarding our values.
Right, and making sure the technology serves humanity,
Yes.
not the other way around.
Right.
So it's a journey we're all on together.
Poplar.
And as we navigate this new territory,
Yeah.
we have to have open and honest conversations,
We do.
consider different perspectives,
But
and work together.
Collaborate.
Yeah, to shape a future where AI benefits everyone.
Absolutely well said.
So it's been an amazing journey exploring this world of AI agents.
It has.
From those basic functions to their transformative potential.
Right.
And those ethical considerations that come with such powerful technology.
Yeah, it's a lot to think about.
Yeah. I hope you found this deep dive informative and engaging.
I hope so.
And as AI continues to evolve, it's really up to all of us to stay informed, ask those tough questions, and participate in shaping a future where AI really does serve humanity's best interests.
I agree.
Thanks for joining us.